Welcome back to the Level Up and Live podcast, where we spotlight the incredible business owners, leaders, and change makers right here in Montgomery County. Today's episode is one I'm super excited about because it's not just about business, it's about courage, resilience, and designing a life you don't grow to hate. My guest is Megan Royster, co-owner of Inferno Customs right here in good old Willis, Texas, alongside her husband, Jeremy. Megan's journey has taken her from a lifelong career in medicine, working everywhere from vet clinics to surgery rooms to stepping into entrepreneur full-time. And the reason behind that shift, family, legacy, and commitment to being present for her daughters. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on Megan's story, the trials, the tough decisions, the lessons learned, and the heart behind Inferno Customs. You'll not only hear about how she and Jeremy are building a business together, but also how Megan is redefining success as a wife, a mom, and a local leader. So buckle up, because this conversation is one you don't want to miss. Megan, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, Megan, before we dive into the business, we roll up our sleeves. Take us back. Who are you at your core?
At my core, I am a people pleaser, to be honest. So I strive and I love to see people happy. I mean, honestly, that's just, I've always been that way. I've always been willing to give and go above and beyond. And I mean, I'm the mom and will go to two different drive-throughs because I want to make both my kids happy. So that's just who I am.
Yeah. Now, how would you describe who Megan is today versus who you were in those early days in medicine?
Honestly, I think I'm less confident today than I am in medicine. Medicine is just what I've known and it's what I've done forever. And it's always been my passion. And in all honesty, I mean, being a co-owner of a business has pushed me way outside my comfort zone, which is what life is about. It's about doing the hard, as Jeremy always says. And I'm learning with Level Up and Live and all of our fellow small business owners, wives, things like that, that I'm gaining confidence. But I've always been a person who answered to somebody. And now I'm that person people answer to. So it's kind of that finding my confidence in that new role.
Yeah. Now, growing up with a single mom, how did that really shape you into the woman you've become? And how does it show up in the way you lead your family today?
So I've seen my mom struggle, and I have always said that I prayed for not only to have stability for my kids, never having to want or need something, like always being able to provide that, but also having that partner that is going to be there with me and show up. And when God brought Jeremy into my life, I literally felt like all my prayers were answered. Like he
Yeah.
has given me my dream. So,
Hmm.
I mean, that you always want better for your kids than what you had. And so I feel like with this, it gives that opportunity.
And you're embodying that on a daily basis, weekly basis. I know one of the
Yes.
things that a couple months ago when I had met you originally at the mastermind group, one of the things that was important to you was to be there with your kids on Friday, and that ran into the same time as the mastermind group.
Yes.
But it was in those moments where that was your priority, is to take care of the
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
And I just love that about you, because your actions spoke volume there, and that's mad respect for you, and an
Well, thank you.
inspiration for you being a business owner, co-owner, mom, superwoman, doing the things that you do. How do you do it all? How do you do all this, Megan?
I don't do it all by myself. I could not. That is one thing, is when you're married to a firefighter, you are a single parent a third of your life.
Mm,
And whenever he would come home, I would appreciate him more than I did when he left. Because I could not do this on my own. I commend every single parent who does, because it is not easy to do it all by yourself.
mm. What was it about medicine? Because I want to stay on this for a second, because I know that was so many years of your life, and you were so passionate about that. And I, even in hearing you say that and speak that, I can feel that, and I know our listeners and audience can as well. So what was it about medicine that kept pulling you all those years?
Um, Honestly, growing up, my grandparents, we spent a lot of summers with them. We would always go to nursing homes. Um, they're Catholic, so we would always saw people who were bedridden. We would go and give the communion to them.
Mhm.
And I guess being close to my grandparents has made me realize that life is so short. And so with medicine, it's that instant gratification. Someone comes in with a problem, they're scared, they're nervous, they're sick, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
But when they leave, that person is so thankful and so appreciative, and they just give you the biggest hug, and you just feel so overwhelmed with just importance. Like, I
Mhm.
just made a difference in that person's life. And it just, it's that feel good feeling. And I've always just loved that. I've always loved being
Yeah.
able to give back.
And it's giving back, right? Serving, it's impacting,
Hmm.
it's giving back. Have you had that same feeling here at Inferno Customs and being a co-owner?
Yes. So Jeremy always tells me, he goes, people literally just spill their guts out to you. And I don't know why. And I mean, customers will come in, and when they're waiting, I mean, well, what else am I going to do? So I start conversations. What are they doing for the weekend?
Yeah.
How is, oh, are you married? Do you have kids? Same thing I would do when I was operating.
Yes.
So honestly, before customers leave, I mean, half the time I know if, their wife is going through cancer, if they're going on this trip, or, uh, you know, stories have just led to where I hear about their life.
Mhm.
And that's whenever I've learned that that's my place. Because when
Mhm.
we first met, you asked me, you go, well, what is my purpose? What is my purpose with Inferno?
Yeah.
And it was a very hard question, because
Mhm.
honestly, I've had that torn between, I love medicine, but I've got to find the passion within my company.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like I found it. I found
Mhm.
it with, you know, that constant communication with our customers, that connection, that
Yeah.
personal connection. I know who that, the guys know the trucks, but I know the people that drive those trucks. And
Yes.
so, and I feel like
Mhm.
that's my purpose. It's that personal connection. That's what makes people are going to want to come back, because they're going to feel like they're not just another number. They're
Yes.
an actual person.
Yeah. Man, that's beautiful, Megan. I'm smiling ear to ear right now. For any of our viewers on YouTube, I
Mhm.
and I know our listeners and viewers can feel that as well. And that is something to strive for and on a daily basis. And people need that because they don't. The people that come in and do business with you and they're sitting there in the lobby, it would have been easy to be in transactional and not talk to them, but you actually care. You're asking them questions. You're observing. And right there, sometimes that 99.9% of the people, they're not getting that in their own life. And for you
Right.
to do that and pay that forward, man, that's very powerful. Now, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let's talk about the moment of decision. September 11th, 2023. Does that ring a bell?
Yep.
you had to
Oh, yeah.
choose. You had to choose between continuing in medicine, which we've talked about, or
Hmm.
stepping into Inferno Customs full time. What was going through
Yep.
your heart and mind in that season?
Oh, I was terrified. I was
Mm,
terrified. I've never not had a steady paycheck that came in like clockwork, whether it be every week or every 2 weeks.
mm,
Um, I've only known medicine. And so stepping out of that, and I've always worked the books behind the scenes, but I've never had to be there 24/7.
yeah.
Um, but when we were discussing it, we just got so busy. And honestly, Jeremy goes, it's either you quit and you do it, or we find someone else and hire them.
Interesting.
And so, because we had to have that position, because he would go
Yeah.
on shift, I would be at work, so we didn't have someone to constantly answer the phone, return calls, things like that. We were missing business.
Yes.
And in all honesty, I looked at him and I said, well, I'm not going to hire somebody, because nobody is going to take this as seriously as me
Yeah.
and as you, because this is our business and our name. And I'm not going to trust anybody, because at the end of the day, it, it it's our baby and it's
That's
our
right.
livelihood. And I mean, yes, we can find really good people, but no one's going to take that as seriously as we will.
Mm,
And so I was like, okay, let's do it.
yeah.
And he was, and he looked at me and he goes, I know you're scared. He goes, I'm scared, and it's not going to be easy. Now, the not easy part. It is not easy. So people think, oh yeah, it's not easy. No, it's really not easy. This is the hardest job I've ever had in my life,
It's not.
but
Yes, it's not. It's not easy.
it's the most rewarding job.
Yeah.
So knowing that all the work that I put into it is not for somebody else. It is just for our team and our business and our name and our family. So
Beautiful.
whatever work I put in, that it's instant gratification.
Yeah. And for those that don't know, our listeners and viewers, what exactly is Inferno Customs and what makes it unique here in Willis, Texas?
So we are your, how I put it now is if it rides, drives, or floats, we can customize it. So, you wanna, and it can be as small as just putting a couple of speakers in a vehicle to full blown, you got tower speakers from side to side of a boat. I mean, it is as little or as extreme as you want to be,
Yeah.
but it's about standing out and honestly just shining pretty much.
Yeah. I can tell you right now, if I'm listening to this podcast and I'm in my teens or even early 20s, that's all I spent my money on.
Yeah, I
Sound
know.
system, lights, lift kit, all
Yep.
those things.
Yep.
So I wish I would have known Inferno Customs then. I don't think y'all were in business then, but
Right.
man,
No.
definitely, because people do business with who they know, like, and trust. And you sharing your story today and the behind the scenes, people don't get to see that a lot of times. They just see
Right.
the finished product on social media and stuff like that. So very powerful in you sharing that. What would you say what's been the most rewarding part of building this business from ground up since you started?
Honestly, showing my girls that a woman can still make a name for herself in a man
Mm.
dominated world.
Amen.
So, we're technically a woman owned company. So, you know, and we made that decision. I didn't even make that decision. Jeremy did it. And it makes sense because at the end of the day, even if our girls don't want to take over the business,
Mm.
that at the end of the day, they're the ones who will inherit it,
Yeah.
hopefully, if it's still around. But, you know, showing them that one, we can make a difference. Two, as long as you work hard,
Mm.
you will go somewhere. It
Mm.
may not be where exactly you want to be, and you can try your hardest and still not make that, CEO position. But if you don't try, you're
Yeah.
not going to make it at all.
Wow.
So
Mm.
we try to push them and say, hey, like Jeremy says, do the hard. That's kind
Yeah.
of what our saying is in the house. Do the hard, like this. I was reluctant to do this, and Jeremy looked at me and he goes, okay, well, if our oldest came to you with this exact same opportunity, what would you tell her? And
He said that?
yeah, he goes, well,
Wow.
he goes, all right, I got to ask a question. He's like, what would you tell Macy? And I said, well, well, one, I want to say, do as I say, not as I do. But
Yeah.
she, he, it's showing them that, you know what? Yes, I have to even myself get outside my comfort zone and push and be a better person.
Mm.
So showing them that we can make a difference,
Mm.
that's probably the most rewarding thing.
Oh man, that's beautiful. And you're doing that. You're doing hard things. You're getting comfortable getting comfortable, getting uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Putting yourself
Yep.
on the podcast, showing up to the
Right.
mastermind group with 30 plus people, running alongside of a business owner. Megan, like, these things you're doing in the last 12 to 18 months, it's incredible. It's like, if you're doing this, I feel like you're just getting warmed up. And you being a child of God, man,
Yep.
there's so much untapped potential in there. And I'm just super grateful to be on this journey with you. So alongside of it.
Thank you.
Now, on the flip side, our listeners and viewers, and just for my own curiosity, what's been the biggest trial, struggle, or lesson so far?
Um, Honestly, balancing the business and family.
Yeah.
And you think that, oh, well, you work for yourself, you have all this extra time. I have way less time than I've ever had in my life. I
Yeah.
look down at the clock and I'm like, oh man, it's already, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. I got to go get kids from pickup line now. And so finding the balance on family and business, because even summertime, the girls are at the shop with us, and I struggled with that because I feel like, are we doing what's right for them? Are we them hanging out in the shop? But I realized, and I truly, anytime I have a conflict, I pray and I open my Bible and I just randomly find a verse and then I feel like God talks to me.
Mm,
And at the end of summer, I did the same thing. And when we were putting our youngest down before the first day of school, she looked at me in the eyes and she goes, I had the best summer ever with you. And I felt
wow.
like that was justification enough for me that, okay, we are doing this. Like it may be messy some days, but we're finding the balance and we're trying to
Yeah.
make our way through it. So, but that's
Mhm.
been the most struggle for me as a mom, as a wife. You're trying to do everything and there's just not enough time in the day. So you have to just pick what's important, pick what has to be done, and try to pick up where you left off yesterday.
Yeah.
So,
And I know a lot of times you and Jeremy had mentioned y'all have been trying to implement systems and processes, SOPs in your business because
yep,
we fall as business owners and even in personal life as well. We fall to the level of our systems and processes because the systems and processes in business and life, what I have learned is it frees up our time. It allows us to
yes,
get back our time to do the things that we enjoy doing.
yep.
And I'm curious, have y'all, what, just for our listeners and audience, what have y'all implemented any? I know y'all have implemented systems and processes, but have y'all forward think, backwards plan in the time blocking? And has that allowed you and Jeremy to prioritize family time by implementing some of those SOPs?
It it has, but I feel like then me and Jeremy are both mentally drained when we come home.
Yeah.
It's a struggle. At least I know for me. But now we've actually implemented time blocking for our kids. So
Oh,
like
really?
yeah, so we just started this and um where they have chores to do every day and it's called Skylight. It's a calendar and
Yeah.
they get stars for completing their task and it says, okay, they get home, they have to do this at this time, this to this time. And honestly, at the end of the week, they earn 20 stars. They get to choose, Starbucks for breakfast or donuts or something like that because we don't believe in giving an allowance for chores. We don't
Mhm.
get paid for taking the trash out. We don't get paid for cooking dinner,
That's right.
but you have you have to have a reward system. It's just like with our guys at the shop,
Yeah.
having something to work towards. And so
Mm.
we started doing that at the house. And now I feel like last night we got to go on a golf cart ride. Like we actually got all of our stuff done and we haven't gone golf cart riding forever because we just don't have the time.
Yeah.
Now with getting the shop, all of our systems and processes done there, and now we're working on the house. So I feel like we're creating structure in both areas. Now we're like, oh man, okay, we have an extra 45 minutes before bedtime. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
So
That's
it-
that's
yeah,
awesome. And you'll just continue to stack that. And you guys are just, I mean, y'all have just started implementing this in the last few months and y'all already
yes.
making huge gains in progress because you continue to show up, you continue to lean in, you continue to serve and pay it forward. And that's a recipe for getting to where you want to go because you're asking
Right.
yourself, who do I need to become as a business owner, as a mom? And then at the same time, Megan, with your skill sets and who you are in your journey, right? Going from medicine to helping build Inferno Customs. I love the fact that you shared that you have found your calling at Inferno Customs,
Yeah.
and because at the end of the day, it has to be sustainable. And a lot of times business owners, we get into these businesses for this reason: time freedom, financial freedom, because we got laid off. Like I got laid off. So my back was against the wall. And then we pick our head up in X amount of time and we realize, whoa, what are we doing? I'm not happy. I'm unfulfilled. But what I'm
Yep.
hearing you say is you're so far ahead of me in where you are in your entrepreneur journey because you've shown up, you've listened, you've been intentional about it and who you're wanting to become. And you're finding your place and your role within Inferno Customs. I think that is that is very inspirational. So
Thank you.
for anybody listening to that, reach out to Megan and ask her how she does it.
I mean, to be honest, just growing up, my grandpa would always tell us that if you don't love what you do, you're never
Mm,
going to make money.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's because if you don't love what you do, you're not going to push yourself and
That's right.
you're not going to want to go.
Yeah.
So I've realized when I found my passion, now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay, I don't mind calling customers. I don't mind, sitting here
Yeah.
listening to them. This is the fun part of my job. Just
Yeah.
like Jeremy's fun part is designing cool stuff. My
Mm,
fun part is to sit there and get to know the customer and get
yeah,
that connection.
I love that. Now, if a mom is listening right now on this podcast in this very moment, and she's torn between pursuing continuing her business or pursuing her career, or even, going from her career to opening a business and being present for her kids, what advice would you give her?
Um, well, that's a hard one. So honestly, I think as a mom, we are always going to want to do what's best for our kids. And in my personal situation, I knew what was best for my kids was for me to leave medicine and run the business full time. It gave one, I've always wanted to be able to just be there for every event, be able to go have lunch with my kid, be able to do the drop off, pack the lunches, and not feel rushed.
Mm,
Um, and I think at the end of the day, that's why I did it because I knew it was best for my family in
yeah.
the long run. Temporarily, it was rough and it was hard, but in the long run, I have seen my girls happier because, I mean, now they get both their parents home every night. And, you know, we don't have to ever worry like, oh, are you working that day whenever I have awards? I have to take off. Well, I can't take off. And just seeing my kids happy because of the fact that I'm able to be there, that right there is everything. So
Yeah.
I think if they're torn, I mean, just think what you think your kid. I mean, you know your kid's best, so you
Yeah.
think about what your kids would want.
Mhm. And I love that you're sharing that, because what I'm hearing you say is that you're making these kids a priority.
Hmm.
And that ties perfectly into, learning from your past experiences and applying that moving forward. And you had mentioned in your dream was to be the mom who never missed anything.
Yep.
So how has being present, which is what we're talking about currently, for your girls and making them a priority, changed your perspective on success? Because success is so different for everybody. What is success? But how has being present for your girls and making them a priority change your perspective on what success looks like for you?
So before I would think success would be X amount of money in the bank.
Yeah.
And, now to me, I feel like we're successful because we got to go on a 10-day camping trip. And, you know, because we set up processes and we set up everything, we were okay. Like the guys ran the shop and yeah, we had hiccups, but it was still there when we got back. And so to me, I felt like we're doing this. Like we're getting successful to where, we are able to leave and be able to just have family time and spend that time together. So to me, I feel like we already are successful.
Yeah. And that right there, to my viewers and to our listeners, is that's winning. You're winning.
Hmm.
You're winning at life. And
Yeah.
that's the beautiful thing about designing a life that you don't grow to hate, is because you are aligned with what it is that you want to be doing. And that's what it's all
Right.
about. I love that.
Yep.
Well, Megan, thank you for being so open, so honest, and so authentic with today. It's very rare, it's very real, and very unique. I appreciate you saying yes on the podcast. And your story is definitely a reminder to all of us that success isn't always about climbing higher, money, and just one field. It's
Mm-mm.
about aligning your choices with your values. And that takes real courage. So I appreciate you being on the podcast today.
Well, thank you. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me.
absolutely. Now, how can our community at Level Up and Live, how can we support you for you showing up today and providing value to us?
Honestly, go support a small business near you.
Mm,
So, you know, every single small business has a couple or a person like Jeremy and I. And, we're very fortunate that we have a strong backing and we have an amazing team and friends and family that we're beyond blessed with.
yeah,
But from what I've heard from friends of ours who are small business owners, they didn't have that. I mean,
yeah,
it was tough for them, starting out. And, you know, so go support.
mm,
Instead of going to the name brand place, just go shop small
yeah,
because that we're all just trying to we're all just trying to find the dream and be successful. So
Mm.
pay it forward.
That's such a humbling response. I love that about you, and that just speaks volume for who you are. And Jeremy had a similar response. He was on the podcast, as you know. So, but I'll do a quick plug for all your Inferno Customs, like anything radio, lights, boats, float. What's your tagline?
If it rides, drives, or floats, we can customize it.
Rides, drives, or floats, you can customize it. Make sure you reach out to Inferno Customs. They're right here in Willis, Texas. And for our listeners, if you want to connect with Megan or check out Inferno Customs, make sure to visit them right here in Willis, Texas. They're on Google. We'll also have the links in the show notes. This isn't just a business. It's a family legacy in the making, and supporting them means you're investing back into our community, like Megan said. Megan, I'm grateful you shared your heart today, and to our audience of business owners and emerging leaders, take this as encouragement. You can build your business, live your values, and design a life you don't grow to regret. Thanks again, Megan.
Thank you.
See you in the next episode.
Yes, sir.